Wake up, dead man. I'll wake up when I'm damn good and ready, okay? Hi, everybody. Welcome back. We are chatting about Rian Johnson's latest addition to the Knives Out universe with Wake Up Dead Man. This film had its premiere at TIFF. I got to catch it there. And this was one of the films that was very much a buzzy title. People were really looking forward to it. It's always really fun when you have a new Rian Johnson murder mystery movie out. It always has these fun casts. This one certainly does. It always has a fun mystery that you can play along with, which this one, we're gonna get into it. But Wake Up Dead Man stars Josh O'Connor, Glenn Close, Josh Brolin, Mila Kunis, Jeremy Renner, Kerry Washington, Andrew Scott, Cailee Spaeny, Daryl McCormack, Thomas Haden Church, and Daniel Craig. This story, I think, has an interesting combination of elements from the first Knives Out film to the second one, Glass Onion. In that I mean, instead of it being this very high-tech, ultra-modern story like how Glass Onion was, I feel like it kind of finds a similar vibe, similar type of tone as the first film. This one is set in a church in a small town. It features a young priest, Reverend Judd Duplessis, played by Josh O'Connor, who is sent to this congregation where this very charismatic, loud-mouthed priest, Monsignor Jefferson Wick, has his very devout congregation around him. It's kind of hive mind mentality when it comes to all these people. However, there's a murder involved. When the Monsignor dies, Benoit Blanc is called in to solve the case, and we get a pretty fun tag team between Josh O'Connor and Daniel Craig. What I loved about this film is the look, those gothic vibes, the church setting, just the darkness that is all around this place, I think fits so perfectly into this murder mystery world. It has such great mischief and creepiness already built into it. There are a million and one different ones that I can recommend slash say that this reminded me of. Don't know why, but the first one that comes to mind is The Devil All the Time. Very similar gothic vibes. That one's set in the South, but again, also dealing with a church and a church leader. Josh O'Connor and Daniel Craig have a pretty fun tag team going on in this, but what actually surprised me is how much of a lead Josh O'Connor takes in this film. And in particular, it's not just him being, a fun young guy, he's freaking out all the time about this murder, etc., but he is actually kind of going through things. He is very much struggling with his faith. I found that very interesting. Reminded me of Conclave, with Cardinal Lawrence very much in a similar position where he doesn't really know if he wants to be a part of the Catholic Church anymore, but also so many other films that present this dilemma in very interesting ways. Doubt, for example. Yes, there is a whole big incident that leads to people doubting their faith, doubting the situation. However, it's hard not to compare it to that film. And then also Heretic from last year too. That was a really interesting film about these two young religious missionaries who are coming to Hugh Grant's store. He is making them question their faith in religion. So I just found this subject matter so ripe for this type of film, and it was very refreshing actually to see him dive into something so personal such as this. I don't think that we've necessarily gotten a whole lot of that with the previous two films. I just think that Josh O'Connor is so very charismatic in this film. I have just adored all of the different roles that he has played in recent years, and I always feel like I'm in good hands with him. And of course, Daniel Craig, he is doing his great Benoit Blanc justice yet again. I think it might be the best that we have seen him in this type of role. He has some pretty amazing, funny one-liners and also just presentations, especially as he is getting ready to tell everybody who committed this murder. I also really want to shout out Josh Brolin in this film. Yes, there are a million and one different cast members here, but he just really gets to have so much fun playing this overly charismatic, this guy who just wants to be liked by everybody, and he kind of wants to be a false prophet in some ways too. I just really loved all of the decisions that he was making, just the ridiculousness in in his character. This character reminds me so much of Henry Powell from The Night of the Hunter. Again, this man who just has this charm around him, but he's just such an evil guy. He's trying to be this leader, kind of that false prophet, all the things that the Bible, from what I'm told, recommends people not do and not follow. With this supporting cast, you have a whole host of people. You've got Cailee Spaeny as a woman who is battling an illness. You have Andrew Scott as this pompous writer, Kerry Washington, and Daryl McCormack as a mother-son tag team. I will admit it's been a little bit of time since I have watched this film, so I don't particularly remember everyone's little thing. However, I will say that I was quite disappointed with the fact that you have so many amazing stars, and yet we just don't really get that much time with these people. It's like they are just kind of afterthoughts. I couldn't really tell you a whole lot about what Jeremy Renner was doing in this film. I couldn't really tell you a whole lot what Glenn Close was doing in this film, aside from just being sad that the Monsignor died and kind of giving weird glances to everyone every so often, just very much keeping quiet to herself. I just don't really know why we did that. We had so much time spent with the people in Glass Onion. I felt like I knew these people, I knew their quirks and traits, but here I just don't really know much about these people aside from, well, I guess they're bad people. Maybe? I don't know. This also bothered me with Glass Onion, but I don't like it when we do finally get the mystery revealed and there's just like no way that you can solve it. I want to have little breadcrumbs left throughout the film. I want to be able to play detective too and kind of go, oh, wait, could it be her? Oh, no, that doesn't make sense because she was here. And what about this person? They're not accounted for. There's like none of that given to us here. All these people are just kind of off doing their own thing. We don't get to spend time with them. I don't know who might have a motive, who might not have a motive. So it's just so disappointing when we finally get to the end, we finally get to the reveal, and you're like, I guess there was no other way for me to figure this out, so I'm hoping that he figures it out. Overall, I gave Wake Up Dead Man 3.5 out of 5 stars. I think at the moment this might be number 3 for me in the Knives Out ranking. Number 1 is the original, number 2 is Glass Onion, and this one is number 3. But I actually do really want to go back, revisit all of these films, especially when this one becomes available in theaters and on Netflix later on. So I might change my thinking. Again, it's always important to remember when you're watching so many films at film festivals, you might have one opinion of it coming out of that screening versus when you get to revisit it again. So maybe things change. I don't know. I just know that I was a bit disappointed with some of the elements in here. Thanks everybody for watching, and I'll see you here next time.